Friday night. It is Erdinger. I've got with me John Gibbons, Damian, Kavanagh, and Robbie O'Neill. Normal people, we just start that again, but we're just having a pint here, we're having a nice time. We don't need to worry about the details of John Gibbons. We'll go with John Gibbons instead. It's a massive weekend. It feels to me, it's not quite season defining because you've got to be careful. We could have made that argument last weekend. I don't know, maybe last weekend will prove to be, hopefully in a positive way, but it does feel like a win, and we are absolutely, unapologetically 100% in this until May.
Yeah, 100%.
For the big one.
100%. Last week felt to me like a little bit of a free hit going into it, and then became even more so after the City results, because I was thinking, look, even if we get beaten Spurs, you can still look at the results in total from the start of the season. I think that's been a good start, and I stand by that. I think 7 games is 5 wins, a draw and a defeat. You know, that's the kind of start where you can say, yeah, we're in for everything. Yeah, I think this one, if they do get beat, that's 2 tough away games they've lost then, and then you maybe start to have your doubts. Maybe the players start to have the doubts. Maybe you felt like we were a bit ahead of schedule, and then you're using words like reality check and stuff like that, which we don't want to use. I'm no interest in checking my reality in any senses, to be honest with you, at any point in my life. And so I think taking everything that happened the last week away from it a second, I think 2 defeats from your two tough away games is tough. But I think you win one and you think, we got battered there last year as well, and I keep thinking about that as well. And what a statement that is, to go, one of your worst performances, run ragged by Brighton away last year, to go there and win well, I think it'd be a big statement, especially then on the back of everything that happened last week.
Everything that happened last week, Damian, is it's difficult to get away from, but it's important we get away from the bad bits, but we hold the good bits close.
100%. I agree with what John's just said there, and as depressing as it got last season was Brighton away.
Yeah.
This is a must-win for Liverpool, because we want to be in for everything. I think the entire firm should do what it's good at here. So the fans need to stay incensed, know that we were robbed, know that we've got loads about us, and know that Liverpool can go and march on. Jürgen and the backroom staff have got to sort of take this away scientifically and say, well, put that to one side, what were the good bits in there, and let's build on this. So it's almost as if to say, 1-5 drawn one, didn't really lose the other.
Yeah.
The gods were against us, believe me, the gold seeds mentality thing, you know what I mean? Not to get too carried away with that, but just build on it and say, listen, well, we certainly didn't lose last week. That's not what happened. We were good enough, we should have got a result, morally, this, that, and the other. Now we've got to take it on now. Brighton, at this point now, I think this is a season-defining game if we're going to be marching on to the places that I think we are ahead of schedule. I don't think we're expected to be talking with this kind of confidence at this point in the season, but all the indicators are from the start that we've made and what's around us that we can crack on. So yeah, massive. I'm confident, and I think this really is so. I don't think you can overstate this, because if we come anywhere near to last season's performance, get a crap result, get a limp draw or whatever have you, then we're quite clearly in the also round for 4th race, which we'll stay in. But if we go there clear, emphatically, and win and do the business, then we're much, much more than that, and that's what Liverpool's about.
I think it's interesting because Damian says feels ahead of schedule. I think it feels ahead of schedule certainly for the outside world, who's all decided to write us off. I think it feels ahead of schedule for much of the closer Liverpool community, not necessarily all of it, but much of the closer Liverpool community. I feel as though it feels a little bit ahead of schedule for the manager. I just sort of feel a little bit like Virgil van Dijk and Dominic Szoboszlai had other ideas. And that's why this is. I genuinely do think that set of players has all looked at each other at some point in July, even separate to the backroom staff, and gone, we're good, And that's where I think Virgil is, where I think Trent is. And I love that when I feel like a team's ahead of the manager, even in terms of its mentality.
I totally agree, and I think your recent lived experience can, inform a lot of the things that you kind of use in order to or use as a catalyst for success. If you think about 18-19, for instance, that season we started to right a lot of the wrongs of the previous season. We lose the European Cup the season before. That season we go on and win it. Now last season, I think one of the big things that was called into question about this team, or about generally, was character. They lost the bottle, and I think from what we've seen up to now from them is they're willing to go down, but they'll go down for swinging. And I think the Newcastle game was the first moment where I was like, hang on, there's something going on here. There's a bit more steering amongst them that we've probably given them credit for. The Spurs game, like, I don't think nobody wants Liverpool to lose, but nobody minds Liverpool losing if you see them leave it all out there.
Yeah.
And I think from that game, like, some of the fucking most miserable fellas I know were like in the WhatsApp group saying, what a fucking performance. Yeah. What a performance.
How is Kyle?
He's like, he's going to see a Bruce Springsteen's 50 set tonight actually, so nice one, KP. No, easy, but genuinely, it was, and I was like, everyone's on board, everyone's on side, and I think this week, like last night, I was half gutted to see a strong lineup, because I was like, I want them to keep the poundage, right? Because I want them to get into that Amex. I've last season in mind and said, we're already starting to prove people wrong here. Those fellas that called us bottlers last year, they're going, fucking hell, they're Andy. You know what I mean? So we could go there, right that wrong. It just puts us on like a great pathway for the rest of the season, as Damian said.
One of the positives is about, the way that it brings the fan base together. It brings, and it is important. Okay, what happens on the WhatsApp group doesn't affect what's going on the pitch. But what happens on the WhatsApp group does affect what's going on in the stands and in the, the general, the feeling around the club. One of my most learned friends, Mike, he wanted to know what time Melwood was open on Monday. But seriously, right, you know what I mean? Can I welcome home the team and give them, that it stirred such emotion, and it was noticeable in the fact that of all the lads, with a certain vintage, our gang, you've seen it all and whatever, but they were still stirred so much in the moment, and it's kept them positive. And it's like, this is our team, they're fighting for us, they left it out there, and going back to what Robbie just said there, not only leaving it all out there, but they're genuinely in with a chance of getting a result with 9 men in the Lions. Then it's Spurs, fair play to Spurs, we're not against them, they had to throw at the crowds there at the R5 kick-off. They're a good side, they're ahead of schedule, they're doing well, good luck to them, but in that environment, to get that close, they're not just leaving it out there because they've got guts, but they're really good. Yeah. And they've got the guy where last season we were playing first goal the winner and we usually conceded the first goal, and now we're playing any goal the winner and any number of men the winner, and it doesn't matter where we're playing either. Which, to take those performances outside of Anfield, it's not even the Anfield factor, it's the players factor, and that's a big thing.
The players being ahead of schedule is my thing, John. The players, the manager, after last week and the way he was talking about them like he was in awe of them. And that, when you capture that moment a little bit, I think that's a key one to capture. Where, as I say, I don't think the manager's playing catch up, but I think he's like, no, this is. I think he's overcome with them, and I think he's, for instance, I reckon he was at the AXA ahead of anyone else in terms of bouncing in to welcome them back. I bet he was
waiting for Mike,
waiting for Mike. He was there before him to welcome Mike and the boys, as he calls them, as they come in. I think that's what it was about. I think that he's there, isn't he? I think with them now 100%.
Yeah, because listen, you say about the players would have looked at each other and sensed that there was a lot of quality, and listen, they know, the ones who've been there a while know what it takes to win a league because they've done it. And so they're, like the likes of Virgil would have been looking around and thinking, there's a lot of talent here. I think, we can really do something. Virgil told me he was going to lift a double this year, and I don't know whether he was joking when I saw him in Singapore, and so. That's the situation that they're in. You're like, is he messing? He was off by the time I could figure it out. But that's the way they are. But for the manager, he's got to think, well, this could go wrong, or that could go wrong, or stuff like that. Or what if it takes Szoboszlai a while to settle? He looks a great player, but what if it takes him a while to settle in the country? And what if his missus are happy? Stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? The managers always think about, what if they don't gel together? What if we get a couple of injuries here or there, all the stuff that the manager is concerned about going into a season and thinking about, and you've got to think about every risk if you're going to know how you're going to deal with it. But it should be said that loads of the stuff that we were worried about hasn't materialised. The injury list has been kind so far. The new players who come in have settled remarkably well. Do you know what I mean? Really, it's even Gravenberch, who didn't get a pre-season, is now starting to look, a good player and things like that. The fact that a few of the players last season who you were starting to think of on the way out are now having a bit of a renaissance. Basically all the centre halves, with the exception of Canate. you know, if you'd have said to me, like, we'll be going into league games and saying, Canate's fit and you're on about not picking them, I'd have been like, what are you on about? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's happened to him? Has he lost a leg? But it's not. It's because Matip's playing so well, and the fact that we didn't have to rush Trent back because Gomez was playing so well. These are all brilliant things that you can hope for as a manager, but you can't say, you know, you're going to put your bottom dollar on it, or you're an idiot. And so loads has gone right, and loads goes right because, you know, the good players and it's good planning, but it's still, you know, all leads to the fact that I always thought we'd get better as the season went on, and that's why I've always been confident about the Europa League, winning the Europa League this season, because I thought we'll have enough to get through the groups, and we'll peak at the right time, and we'll get better, and by the time we're playing the good teams, we'll be pairing. We're pairing now, and I don't see it stopping.
I think you mentioned there about things going right. I think it feels so good is because so much has gone right, but so much has also gone wrong. And it's like how do you react when everything's gone wrong? And I think that's what gives you the confidence, isn't it? Because the times we've gone behind the season, last season, we would have crumbled. There's no two ways about it. Yeah. And just seeing like those moments, it just gives you that confidence and that zest. Like you're in the stands, and I don't know what it is. It's just unison, innit? You know what I mean? It's like everyone's like going in synchronicity, and when you go on the match, or even if you're not at the match and you just feel it, and even if you're in a booze and you just know, it doesn't matter what happens here. Everyone's standing shoulder to shoulder, everyone's on the same page, we move forwards, and we crack on.
Okay, we're here in Nova Scotia with the good people of Erdinger. Here's a little bit of them, and then I'm going to get these to get the whiteboards out and pick me some teams.
And Erdinger, please.
Stop! Don't forget the best bit.
Welcome back. A pleasure to be with Damian, with John and with Robbie. What are you doing in midfield then, Curtis? What's your move?
I think Gravenberch just put himself into the equation. I wouldn't have said that a week or two ago. I was worried about what John's saying. He hasn't really had a pre-season, but he's showing the bits, isn't he? He's got energy, playing with a smile on his face, post-match interview.
I think playing with a smile on his face is the big one for me. He looks like he's loving his football.
It makes all the difference to everyone, to anyone in life, confidence and feeling wanted in anything you're talking about. And he gets interviewed last night, he says, 2 minutes. You know, which obviously means I feel part of this. So I think Curtis is unfortunate. And certainly, you know, even if you talk about whether it should be a sending off or something, how many games is he going to miss for that?
3, it's ridiculous.
I mean, that is, even if you think it was a sending off, that punishment is disproportionate to the incident that happened in the spirit of the game. Yeah. I'm not saying that the laws haven't been applied consistently, but you know that's where it is. And so for Curtis had an excellent start to the season, building up on what he did internationally in the summer and all that. If anything, Gravenberch is the natural. He's going to be looking at his shirt, isn't he? He's going to be looking and saying, who can I get in front of here? And Curtis was going, well, it won't be me, mate. Well, now there's 3 games to say it is you, mate. Yeah. And I think that is where I'd be going. That's kind of from the full strength team that we're using in the Premier League at the moment. I think that's the obvious one at this juncture.
Do you think that's what he'll do?
I do. The substitutions last night gave me a bit of food for thought. Though I thought you'd go Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai, but when he subbed Enzo off, it had me thinking, is he going to sacrifice one of them, Szoboszlai or McAllister? So I just wonder if, because I think Gravenberch will start. I think after last night, I think he'll start from the left.
I think so. I sort of wonder if, they were worried about his fitness. Yeah. So he gets a lot of time in his legs last night. So the idea of him playing Thursday, Sunday on that turnaround. And I also think there's something else with the way they play. They want to draw you on. Yeah. They want to make you. So I almost feel as though, does he want to go with? Because he's got to play Darwin no matter what. Yeah. And let's be clear about this. You're not knocking the natural enthusiasm out of Nunez. That's what you want to keep it in there.
That's a given,
but does he want another one in there who's very eager to go and get it back off them? Because all they love to do is say, come on. Now bang, 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 we've gone round it and we've got space to play in. And that's my worry with it. Both, firstly, his legs, but secondly, that little bit of does he want another one who's just loving to play football? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A bit more maybe cynicism almost.
I think one thing that just what really struck out for me last night is how he just how he's got into that left-hand channel so well.
Yeah.
And I thought it's been.
I think that's it.
That's something that they haven't really got the tape for that. I mean, they might watch last night and go, let's prepare for that. But that's not something we've seen this Liverpool team do from midfield. It tends to be more on the right-hand side generally. So I was wondering whether they'd be looking at that and just having that enthusiasm moving through midfield. But I think McAllister, obviously, he knows. I don't know. I think it'd be an obvious pick. It's just.
I think McAllister definitely starts.
Yeah, because he's got the run of them. Essentially, he's played with them every single week.
He's a clever player.
Yeah, and
such a smart fella.
That's it. So it was just the Endo sub because I thought Enzo would get 90 last night. And when he subbed him, I was like, okay, he must, and he said it was planned. So he's obviously got something in mind for him at the weekend. So I think McAllister definite, and then I think actually for the other three it's a bit of a toss-up.
What do you think he'll do? What would you do and what do you think he'll do? I think there might be two different answers.
Yeah, I think the plan was probably to go with Endo, and then I think Gravenberch obviously has put in a performance where they might have to think again. I think in normal circumstances, and what I mean by that, if you had a defined number 6 and then you had Szoboszlai playing as well as he did, I think Gravenberch would make perfect sense because like Cav says he's the most like-for-like replacement. Like Robbie says he likes playing on that left-hand side, but I think the slight sort of joker in the pack, if you like, is the fact that McAllister's playing in a position that he's not completely comfortable with. He's doing well, but if you asked him to pick a team, he won't pick himself there. And so I think that's the only thing that's slightly in the back of my mind is that will he go, well, I'd rather play McAllister in a position that he prefers and then put Endo there, even though he doesn't necessarily think that Endo's playing as well as Gravenberch, at the moment. Does it make more sense to play, especially in a game that's going to be tough, an out-and-out defensive midfielder in that role, push McAllister forward where he's happier, I believe, where he's happier, and then you've got Szoboszlai to go from there. And like you say, to use Gravenberch off the bench maybe when he's able to come on last 20 minutes, and pretty much in any situation you back him to do well. Do you know what I mean? Whether we're up or whether we're chasing the game or whatever, let's hope it's the former. You'd sort of back him to do well, so he might do that. I just wonder whether he's throwing a bit of a Mickey with all these subs, do you know what I mean? He talks about the manager, how smart he is, and he said...
I think there's Mickey's in the air.
Yeah, I said with the Gravenberch thing, he says, he's tired, so he takes him off. And you think, well, that's not great for Sunday, but then you think, well, he's not going to go. To be honest, I thought we're going to have to pick him on Sunday, so I'm going to hook him now. Like, that's not me. A manager's never said that, is he? You know what I mean? I'm going to start him Sunday, so we have given him a bit of a rest. He's not going to sort of come out with that, and so you think, well maybe they have decided at that point, yeah, he starts for me Sunday, let's get him off the pitch and we'll just say his legs are gone. Because he doesn't look like they're gone to me.
He's an extremely fit, strong young fella, and looks the part. And I think, we got bogged down in the 16, didn't we?
Yeah.
Understandably so. For all good reasons, none of it's illogical. But given the fact that we haven't got one, we're just sort of like, why would we overthink it? I know something you're saying about Brighton's tactics and whatever, but let's just come up and do what we're good at. You know what I mean?
But I just wonder, I think in terms of overthinking, I think there's a chance, not overthinking, I think there's a chance we play 4-4-2. I think there's a lot of, you look at West Ham beat them, they have Souček and Alvarez City, soak it up, and they play almost Ward-Prowse off the front man, Bowen coming in on one flank, Paquetá off the other. Villa beat them. Villa play 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1. In the middle of their midfield, they've got Douglas Luiz and they've got the Boubacar Traoré. They sit there, then it's DRB plays off Watkins and those two plays are 2. Good wide men in wide areas, direct, good runners, so on and so forth. I think there's a chance he picks McAllister and Szoboszlai in the middle as a 2. Plays maybe Elliott off the right, Diaz off the left and puts Salah behind Nunez and says, go on then, and where we ended up against Wolves, but McAllister in for Jones, and just says these two are going to sit. They're going to sit, they're going to be patient, we're going to look after the ball a little bit, and they're going to be combative. I think there's a chance he does that because I think what they want to do is they want to bypass you and isolate one player in the middle there, whoever the 6 is. Could be Rodri. And then what they do is they pull those 2 forwards back into that space either side. Ferguson, Welbeck, possibly maybe Pedro, and they play in that little area there. And they say right, and now they've got the lads in wide areas, and they go woof. And you've got Matoma's quality and March's movement. So these vacate, March moves, Matoma creates, and that's how they do what they do. And I think it's dead interesting that they've come up against West Ham and Villa. They were good sides, but not great sides. But they've both got good sitters.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, I mean, it goes back with the thing for me about, I like the way that I like to stay back. He's going to be starting to be spraying the ball around. Do you know what I mean? I like him bombing on the right or staying back in the middle. Of course, you've got to get your ducks in a row in that regard, but I just think we're catching Brighton at the right time as well.
So I definitely think that.
Yeah, and I think also that means then that we don't have... I don't see how Endo gets in this team yet. I don't think he's necessarily flying at the moment himself. He's working his way in. You can see his value in the squad or whatever. But if you ask the question about, for example, Endo playing in the team or anybody else, saying put McAllister, who isn't in his best position. I respect that, of course, yeah. But is McAllister going to be of more value than currently where Endo is? I think so, because he's just got a few more tools. Yeah. You know, and I think that we're good. I think we're going to have enough of the ball to make advantage of those tools that he's got, rather than Endo's limitations. That's where I see it.
You looking forward to going?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I love Brighton. I can't believe the weather. 20 degrees sunshine, and yeah, it's going to be brilliant. So we've got a good little session down there first, with I'm sure 1 or 2 others. And then, yeah, the game I'm really looking forward to, because last year we weren't playing well, and I remember saying to you before, I think we're going to get beaten, and we did, and I think this time we're going with a lot more optimism, and that's how you want to approach anything in football and life, don't you? And so, yeah, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to cheering them. Like, we didn't do that welcome up in action. Maybe if you give me a shout, I'd have drove a bus up. But,
just grabbing people off the streets as they go.
I didn't know it was a thing, but you know, we get to do it on Sunday, don't we?
We get to do it on Sunday. How think we're going to get on?
I think we're going to win 3-1.
Okay, there we are. How think we're going to get
Liverpool by 2 goals, yeah, defo, and not sweating on it, not like clinching it with the last kick. Controlling a lot of the game and deservedly showing that the 2 goals better than Brighton.
All the forwards to score and Liverpool to win.
All the forwards to score?
Well, all 3 of them. I love it when they do that.
Yeah, I love it when they do that as well, but what an afternoon.
Yeah.
In that heat, do you know what I mean? Are you
might not come home.
You're doing shorts?
Shorts leather, innit?
I'm packing shorts.
Okay, just so I know.
Packing shorts.
All right, there we are. Let's bear it in mind. Damian, John, Robbie, Erdinger, Nova Scotia, everything marvellous, nothing hurts.